Oh, yeah, it's that music. Siesta Ocha. This is James Moore. Welcome to solar-powered KRUU-FM. If it's Tuesday and it's 12:30, that means it is city business time if we've just had a city council meeting, which we have just had. And we're really delighted to be presenting 4th Ward Councilman Michael Halley to give us sort of the latest on the haps down there at City Hall. Michael, how you doing today?
Good, glad to be here.
Good to see you. I see you've got your tab set up with a very nice, this is television, so you got a little kind of tilt there and everything. This is fantastic. Tell me about
a couple different devices here.
Only two.
Trying to bring you all the information.
Well, great. And, what do you got for this week? By the way, 12:30 Tuesday, also 6:30 p.m. Thursday, and then the following Monday, 6:30 a.m. if you want to catch up here at solar-powered KRUU-FM, 100.1 on your FM dial, also KRUU-FM.com on the World Wide Web, and we're also delighted to have FMC, the Media Center, in the house as well. So what do you got? And let's identify the date here, young
man. All right,
man.
yes, this is for the regular City Council meeting, October 28th, 2013. We had a pretty good, full, nice, well-rounded meeting. Very interesting. We started off with the positive. The city received an award. Now, this is what I was looking up because I cannot remember what this 5-letter acronym stands for. There are a lot of acronyms in this world.
There are.
So it does stand for the Iowa Municipalities Workers' Compensation Association.
I know it well.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, what was the award about?
Well, the award was the Best Practices Award. Now, they've only given out 12 of these in over a 20-year history, so they don't give them out lightly. Essentially, it was in recognition of the city. Now, there's a City Council Public Safety Committee. Right. There's a separate City Safety Committee. Not to confuse anyone, but
okay.
So the Safety Committee is made up of all the department heads and members from, I guess it's all department heads and the city clerks in there, city manager. They basically look at ways to enhance employee safety, thus secondarily reducing workers' compensation claims.
Makes sense.
So it's really about safety. Secondarily, it's about, I suppose, financial management, because those claims don't just, when you're talking about the city, you're talking about mostly taxpayers' money.
Of course.
So well-managed money.
And just to make clear, you were delineating between the bigger group and the smaller group, and we're talking about, in this case?
This is more of a citywide.
A citywide group, a bigger group. Okay.
Yeah, rather than just the council.
Gotcha.
So the city clerk, Joy Messer, received the award on behalf of the city, since she was instrumental in that.
Congratulations.
Came with a $1,000 check. To put towards more of these efforts.
Nice.
I remember hearing about this because I'm not on that. That's for city employees rather than city council. But I do remember hearing that, like, just simple things as adding reflective vests so that all public works employees, waterworks employees, wastewater employees, when they're out anywhere near traffic, have reflective vests. Cool. It seems rather simple, but making that policy and making sure everyone has them. Basic, simple things we can do to enhance safety. So always nice to be recognized. There's a plaque, and on the plaque, it gave us the 2013, but there were room for others that maybe we can, again, have the honor of receiving.
Nice. Very congratulations down there. Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Better safe than sorry, right?
Exactly. The other public forum or public appearance was just a request from the Chamber of Commerce, who organizes the lighting dedication ceremony on Central Park every year. So that happens the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. Launches the official Christmas season. I know some of the...
that's not Black Friday, right? No, that's Christmas. That's.
I think it is actually. That's Black Friday.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But, there's more to that day than shopping.
Well, we're lighting up Black Friday then.
Yeah, you're lighting up the square. Usually happens around 5. There's usually some singing from some student group, and it's always a lot of fun. And then someone gets to flip the switch, and boom, the lights are up. Well, they also want to have horse carriage rides and wanted to have some spaces on the south side of the square, those parking spaces closed so that the buggy could pull up and drop people off. Mm-hmm. I made a simple request. I don't remember who told me, but they were a little bit concerned about after Oktoberfest, the horses left deposits on the street that
bank deposits.
Different kind of deposit.
Okay.
It was, they left their droppings.
Gotcha.
Here and there.
Not sure we can say that on radio, but
yeah, I think we can.
Okay.
They left their food waste.
Yes.
Anyway,
they left their byproducts.
And Dave Neff was in attendance, and we asked him if anyone from the committee cleaned it up. He said it was an oversight, but then Darren Hamilton, Councilman Darren Hamilton, said, well, since I am on the Chamber of Commerce board, perhaps I should be the one to clean up any horse waste. So, well, if you give me a large enough shovel and a wheelbarrow, I can maybe make that happen. But it's just something to keep in mind. We all love horse and buggy rides, but then there's that.
Right. We love metaphors too, but maybe we'll leave it at that.
I'm sure. I was waiting for you to take this and run with it, but I guess it's too easy, right?
It's too easy. It's also it's a delicate subject here on with the FCC, I think. So we'll go easy.
All right.
Theater of the imagination, they say radio. So
exactly. Fill in the blanks in your own mind. It's just as funny. All right, next were our action items. First was approval of a new cleaning contract. Woohoo! Basic city business. We had a group that had done it, and we tried a different group, and now we're going back to the ones who everyone liked the quality of their service. They charged us a little more, but they clean better. So
cool. Action items. I feel like we should have some special music for that.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Anyway,
we could work on that.
We'll work on that.
That would be good. The next was approval of a CAT grant. Community Attraction and Tourism Grants.
Okay.
This would be for the new pool and gym project.
Right.
Apparently, these grants have funded pools and indoor gyms, so we're hopeful. We have never applied for one in the history of Fairfield, so this would be our first application.
And obviously the right time to do so.
Yep. So a couple of things. We're hiring Dietra Detman from Pathfinders, and she's basically offers this as a professional service, and she's had a very good track record with Grant. Secondarily, just as a hint to the future, one thing that will be necessary for this grant is not just that we have the city's contribution, which we have, and we have substantial private contribution. We also need something from the county. So Jefferson County has to get some skin in the game as well for this to go forward. More on that later.
More on that later, folks.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Yep. Next was approving a tax abatement. Now, when all we do is say, yes, go ahead and pass this on to the county assessor, we don't actually set the amount of the abatement. The form to fill out for a property owner, they set a certain amount, but the assessor decides ultimately how much did you improve the quality, or not improve, but how much more is the property worth as a result of what you did. Yeah, and that's the portion that you get an abatement on. So this was for the Sweet Spot on Burlington. They enclosed their outdoor eating area. So
big sign out there too.
Yep, we gave them a thumbs up, and then it gets passed on. And like I said, whatever it's assessed at is what they'll get an abatement on. We finalized the vacating of the alley by the First United Methodist Church. So that is done. And then we moved on to what was the true meat of the night, no pun intended. Was the deer ordinance discussion.
Yeah, I've been getting seeing some different emails from different sectors, and is this with bow and arrow or
bow hunting? Yeah. So just to clarify what the proposal was, it came from the Fairfield PD. The police department proposed a trial, a 4-day trial. So Saturday and Sunday, the last weekend of December this year. Saturday and Sunday, the first weekend of January 2014. So those 4 days.
Right.
Essentially, kind of let's try it and see how it goes, since we really feel, the city does feel the need to take some action on the deer problem, the deer overpopulation problem, but perhaps the public wasn't entirely comfortable with the full-on deer bow hunting season like other communities have. So this is a put your toe in the water type of thing. Even with that, there were those who objected and want to find non-lethal alternatives. The Council Public Safety and Transportation Committee has been looking at this for over a year. How can we manage deer population?
Are there any deer whisperers out there?
Well, we started by drafting and passing an ordinance that made it illegal to feed deer in town. That was our first step.
I remember that.
So a lot of people thought, oh, that's nice, but that's not going to do anything, and it probably really didn't. Then on our conversations with the representative from the DNR, who His official title is wildlife predation biologist. So he's the person who manages animals that are prey animals that have natural predators. Well, in this case, the deer are, but they're not. Their natural predators are gone because we humans removed them. So some facts are that an unhunted population can double in size every 3 years. Their birthing rates and such, they can grow about 35% a year. And they basically will tend to nest and feed in areas where they feel safe. So the only prescription that the DNR recommends at this time is controlled, managed deer bow hunting in the areas of concern. And the two things that does is it thins the herd to some extent, but also it teaches the deer not to come to those areas. Deer will not go where they feel predators are likely to get them. So after 2-3 years, a lot of them will move out of that area. What's interesting is Jefferson County Park has used deer bow hunting for at least 3 years now, maybe 4. And the council had an ordinance on the books that allowed, just in the city portion of the park, this deer bow hunt. So what this ordinance is just an expansion saying it's not just that area, but also we added 2 other areas. But only, this was a point one citizen was concerned about, what's the cutoff? The cutoff is only these 4 days mentioned. The ordinance is very clear on that. So after that last weekend of December and that first weekend of January, the trial's over and it reverts back to only that little portion of Jefferson County Park.
Gotcha.
But their experience out at the park is fewer and fewer deer in the park year after year. Now, they have not obliterated the herd by any means. Essentially, the deer don't want to go in there because they have been taught, in a sense, that it's not safe. So the trial alone won't help the situation in any real way, but it should be very educational for everyone, the police department, just to go through and give it a go and see how it goes from their end, the public. There's a concern of a hunter takes a shot at a deer. It's not lethal. The deer runs, goes through people's yards, bleeding everywhere and in distress and that kind of thing. While that obviously could be a possibility, it's not a probable possibility.
Well, I don't know if the bow and arrows that are being used, the pulley, I mean, these things are, the razor blades, I don't mean to get graphic. My brother-in-law is a huge hunter, which he's been doing, actually works for Bass Pro as well. And, I have my issues with it. I'm actually a vegetarian, but these things are pretty lethal. If you look at the bow, the deer hunting bows are pretty, and arrows are pretty, you know what I mean? It's shooting, you can also wound, and all those things are possible. Yeah. But I'll just add 2 other quick things. He said, without a thinned population, what he's seen a deer that starved to death in the winter, frozen, and which is obviously a much worse, very harder kind of death. Yeah. One aspect to think about. The other thing is, all the suburbs that we've created everywhere, that is the natural habitat that deer like, to be able to run off and then be. So in a strange way, the very stuff that we've built, aside from getting rid of their predators, and that would be animals that we'd feel not safe for children to be around and so forth. It's sort of like an interesting puzzle. Yeah. It's not an easy one. However, hopefully everything's just balanced. You don't have to worry about it. But, we do have issues with deer ticks. Yep. We have...
there's Lyme disease concerns.
And not to mention billions of dollars of damage from car accidents and then damage to property. So... Yep. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out.
It's a big part of the puzzle is that we have to look at the property damage and the safety aspect of the deer on the street, essentially. And so a couple things that the people brought up as concerns were, well, do we really have data that says we have a problem? So I talked to our DNR rep, and one possibility is doing a helicopter flyover and counting. He said what that does is it gives you really a snapshot. It takes about an hour. So then what is how many deer were in your city for that hour on that day. But deer move. They migrate in and out. and it isn't actually as accurate, he said, as police department getting more calls about deer vehicle collisions and getting more calls about property damage.
Well, I saw a herd of 7 or 9 over by that area out toward the Casey's, and it was in the, suburb. It was like right in the.
They're coming closer to the center of town.
It's the biggest herd I've ever seen.
Yeah. So again, it's.
Do you call them herd, or are they gaggles or cockles?
I think herd of deer. Sounds fine. That's what I heard, at least. I just pulled a Jimmy. Come on, we need a little cymbal to crash right there.
Speaking of that, we're speaking with Michael Halley. This is James Moore. You're listening to Solar Powered KRUU-FM. This is City Business. We go inside the haps downtown. Was it quite downtown? The City Council. And Michael Halley, 4th Ward, brings us an update after each City Council session. Then we go 12:30 Tuesday following the City Council meeting, Thursday 6:30 p.m. dinner time, and then the following Monday 6:30 a.m. for everybody to keep up to snap. Also, you can see it on FMC. We appreciate them dropping by and filming this as well. I've heard some good feedback on that. Good. People like the back of my head. Love it. They said it's been informative. So
yeah, I think the conversational aspect is easier to follow than a full City Council meeting, though I will say they can be entertaining.
Yep, and that's all presented as well.
Yes.
And as a record, so that's important.
That's on Channel 9 and also online.
Excellent.
FMC.com.
No, Fairfield Media Center.
That's what I said.
FairfieldMediaCenter.com. FMC is the acronym. You're in acronym heaven here today.
I am. I got to get out of that. FairfieldMediaCenter.com. Check it out. It's one of my favorites on my web browser.
Excellent.
All right, I want to finish up about the deer thing.
Yep.
So the proposed areas are, there's a wooded area south of the middle school and a wooded area in the southwest corner of O.B. Nelson Park. The hunt would take place when school is out of session, and we will close the park and the dog park during that time. Okay. Hunters will need to pass proficiency tests. They have to hit a target 8 times out of 10 from 20 yards. 20 yards is the distance, the maximum distance they're being told they can take a shot at a deer. Shots are taken from a deer stand, which is an elevated stationary position, and it's a downward angle, so if it's a miss, it doesn't continue flying off. So these are all provisions that the DNR put in place. Ottumwa's had a deer hunt program for years. Iowa City, Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, many cities in Iowa have had these. And the report is the public can't tell when they're happening. So there are not wounded, bloody deer running around. It's just very quiet.
Well, think of it, 20 yards away, 60 feet. It's
pretty sure shot.
If you're able to hit a target 8 out of 10 times, and I don't mean to get graphic on you, but because I know some people don't like the idea at all, and like I say, it's not my favorite thing, but
it's not mine either.
But it is something that needs to be dealt with. And so you're saying Iowa City, other places, this is part of their they have deer management programs. Right. A lot of them much more extensive than we can imagine. A bigger area with around these larger places as well.
And there are some that have them that, like, we're doing this more or less on our own, but some partner with the DNR. So we're following DNR guidelines, but this is a more individualized. At this point, obviously, it's a trial. But even if we were to do something, it may be more specific to Fairfield. So more on that later. At this point, the council did vote unanimously. John Revelinsky was not present last night, but the other 6 members voted unanimously to pass the ordinance from the first to second reading. So at our next council meeting, second Monday in November, we will have. It's a Tuesday. That Monday is a holiday.
Okay.
So it's the second Tuesday. Will be our council meeting, 7 o'clock. We'll have a second public hearing, a second vote. And even between then, there's a Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting on Monday. Let me look on my calendar. I want to give the right date if anyone's curious. All these meetings are open to the public. Someone asked if they could come to, we had an arbor. I'll get to that later. We had an arbor meeting.
But all committee meetings are open.
Yep.
And if you want to check out what's happening at any given time, you can drop by City Council, call, or be asked to be put on a list, and they'll include those to you, I think, if you want.
And they're all put on the city website. They're all posted
in the
on
Fairfield Ledger, I think,
Fairfield Ledger. Yeah, it's by law. All right, on Monday, November 4th, 6 o'clock at City Council will be the Public Safety Transportation Committee meeting, and the deer hunt will be on that agenda, I believe. So that'll be another chance for people to talk about it in a somewhat more relaxed setting where you don't have the cameras and it's not as formal. All right, moving on. The mayor's report. He added a member to the Fairfield Media Center board, Mr. Werner Elmker.
Oh, great.
So great fit since he's so active with taking video.
Lots of videos, lots of pictures, helped with Fairfest. Great.
Yep.
I think people know his pictures from Facebook, and absolutely great.
Yep. So that was a good addition. All right, next, the mayor was talking about on November 5th, we'll have the city vote.
That's right.
Citywide elections. On the ballot will be what's referred to as SURF. Now, I'm not talking about, whoa, dude, it's tubular or whatever, but
Totally.
it stands at CR, another acronym, CIRF, Critical Infrastructure Reserve Fund.
I knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Well, this was on the books for about 9 years, and then it forgot to be renewed 2 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay.
But basically, it's a valuation of up to 67 cents per $1,000 of a property value. So it's a little bit of a property tax that goes towards street repair and street replacement. Now, in the past, it's raised about $200,000 a year. Just to give it an idea of what street repair and replacement cost, a block of total street repair, that's $100,000. A city block of resurfacing is $30,000. So $200,000, though it might seem not like that isn't a lot, it's extremely important. It's the only local funding the city has for street repair. There's also the road use tax fund that we get, and all cities get that. And that's our major source for street repair.
And that comes from where?
It's a state.
It's a state
thing.
Oh, I see. It's divvied.
Yeah, and then they divvy it up. Yep. So we really hope people vote yes. It's basically, okay, I'll pay a little bit more in property taxes. I'll pay 67 cents for every $1,000 valuation. So if you have a $100,000 home, that's $67 a year to have smoother streets to drive on. I mean, that's where these funds go. So,
just so you know, of course, as a public non-commercial station here, we can't advocate for a particular vote, a particular person, a particular party or anything, but that's something, or we certainly need to give the other side the thought. But I mean, you're saying that this is something that was going on automatically for a while, or being revoted in each year? It
apparently expired, and someone didn't notice that it expired, so it has to be renewed. So yeah, it's up to voters, but that's what it is. That's the amount it is, and it's up to that amount.
Once voted on, then it usually gets renewed.
It would get renewed for at least a period of time.
So this fell through the cracks, and then it's an opportunity for people to look at it.
Yeah, there's no problem, looking at it.
But that'll be one of the things. Also,
that'll be on there.
If you're listening live here Tuesday, I know this probably won't apply to the television or even if it's rebroadcast Thursday, but Wednesday night there's going to be an opportunity for people to go to the mayoral debate.
That's actually tonight.
Is that tonight?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's
Tuesday night at 7.
Fantastic.
At the library.
So
and
if
it's
you're
not
listening,
mayoral, it's just four candidates running for an open at-large seat.
Oh, okay.
So apparently the mayor is not going to, his opponent's not in town, so he won't be speaking. And
I see.
I won't be speaking, and John Revelinsky and Jessica Ledger-Kalin won't, because we're incumbents running unopposed. But the 4 candidates who are running for one seat will be. And it's going to be interesting because...
do you know who the candidates are, just quickly?
Sure.
And again, this is for listening live now. If you're listening, if we don't take this out for Thursday and Monday, which we'll try to do, we can handle that. But if we don't, this is only for if you're listening live now.
Yes.
And that's for tonight, and that's Tuesday, October 29th.
Yes. So if you are listening, you can go. If you're not, it happened. But you can actually watch it on the Fairfield Media Center. They will be filming
live,
it.
Right?
So live, and then it's going to be live?
No.
It's
not live, but they will rebroadcast
They'll rebroadcast it,
So
okay.
even if you don't make it live, you will have a chance to watch it.
Great.
Let's see if I get all the names right. Doug Flowney, Andrew Perry, Patrick Bolsold, and Richard Walbaum.
Wow, interesting collection.
I think I got them right. Yeah.
Well, great. That'll be fun. That's
so
city politics in action, and I know we only have about 3 minutes left here, so I want to make sure we get to whatever else there needs to be covered.
Just a couple more things. 2 committee reports. One was my committee, the Environment Committee. we met last week as a joint meeting with the new Arbor Committee, and we're just strategizing. I was almost going to say strategizing because, anyway, Will Ferrell has got that in my mind from his George Bush days where he impersonated.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to use that word. I'm going to say we strategized. That's
Good
proper English. About the emerald ash borer situation.
Yes.
Really trying to stay ahead of that.
Which we talked about last time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the only new-ish thing that came out of it was just more of an emphasis on really advising private property owners to follow in the city's footsteps and not go the route of the insecticidal treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they're so toxic and so powerful and indiscriminate that bees, birds, maybe even squirrels, anything that comes in contact with that will die.
Okay.
So you basically are creating a dead zone. So, okay, I saved my ash tree, but to what cost? There are also treatments that go on the roots. The same thing. It creates a dead zone around the tree. So even if you have a beautiful, magnificent ash, we are going the route of replanting. We're replanting now. Hopefully we have some time between now and when the ash will be all infested here in town. And we'll have smaller, younger trees taking the place of older, more majestic ones. And that's always sad. You should go to Chautauqua Park and you see the old oaks that died last year replaced by 6 foot, 8 foot tall trees. It's not the same. But that's
time flies, you know.
Well, that's the nature of tree planting. You have to have a forward-thinking vision, and we have to plant now so that when we're in our ripe old age, those trees are tall. Our children, their children will enjoy them. It's really a far-looking type of thing.
You know what they say: dust to dust, ashes to ashes.
Yep, exactly.
Ash borers to.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Yeah,
with
I'm going on a short plank.
I'm
down
not giving
a
you
steep decline.
That's where we need the wah, you know. We need.
Speaking of which, any final thing?
Yeah, just
12 seconds.
Oh, there was a sewer utility committee report, and it was fascinating. But in order to hear more about that, you're going to have to go on fairfieldmediacenter.com and watch the full city council meeting all the way through just to hear that report at the end.
Great. Well, we'll keep you in the deep on that one. We'll keep you in the dark on that. No. At any rate, Michael Halley, thank you so much for joining me. This is James Moore.
Last reminder
to
vote on November 5th.
Vote November 5th. That is good advice. If you don't vote, you don't vote.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?